So let's talk about a diet that I recently stumbled on that can be make or break for your weight loss journey. Pardon the interruption, just a quick note is that if you prefer content that's a little bit more shorter, concise, more well structured, fewer rambles, fewer tangents, fewer analogies, then there's a link in the description below to another video of mine talking about this subject, but in that manner. You're likely to get less context, but it's more straightforward and to the point, just to let you know. Now you're probably thinking, yes, another diet. What's so special about this one? And I completely understand, but just bear with me here because this one I just need to highlight because it can send you one way or the other when it comes to success or failure with your long-term weight loss journey. So today we'll talk about this particular diet as part of your plan for your weight loss journey, how it fits in, what's right with it, what's wrong with it, positives, negatives, etc. So we'll go through all of that. So today we'll talk about this particular diet, how it fits in or how it doesn't fit in to your weight loss journey long term, and the positives and negatives associated with it. But just to issue a warning up front that you may not like what I have to say in my analysis about this, so you might want to click off, but just bear with me because we will end on a nice positive note. That's the good news that I have for you, is a solution that I'll provide for you. Something to look forward to, no doubt. So we are talking about the Keto Egg Fast Diet. For some reason I've got to say that really slow in order for it to come out correctly. It's just a fault of mine. Give it a go yourself and see if you can do it. Do it 10 times fast and see how you go. So I'll go over the rules of the diet in a moment. Why we need rules, I'll never know, but there you go. That's the nature of a diet for you. So I'll go over the rules in a moment, but let me first tell you a little bit about what the diet is and we'll provide a bit of context around that. So it is marketed or branded as a short-term restrictive diet, and it also has attributes of a keto diet. Now it's not a keto diet. I think that's got to be made clear straight away because of the short-term nature of it. But it does put you into ketosis. So yeah, bit of a contradictory, funny one to get your head around. I read that and I thought, oh, hang on, is it or isn't it? But apparently it's not. It's not because of the short-term nature. So let's just get that clear up front. And the fact that it's short-term and the fact that it's restrictive, if I had any alarm bells in this room, I would be ringing every one of them. But we'll get to that a wee bit later on. So you only eat eggs, healthy fats, and cheese for a 3 to 5 day period. I said I was going to go over the rules later on and I will. That's just like a summary of what the diet consists of. The rules, which are a little bit more restrictive, as if that wasn't restrictive enough, is something I'll touch on in a moment. But that's the summary of it all. 3 to 5 days eating those 3 things. So it sounds like it's high in fat, moderate in protein, and as low as you can get on carbs. Sounds like keto to me. But never mind, that's what we're dealing with. And it doesn't involve fasting from eggs, despite its name, of course. The name, I've written this down, the name is the Keto Egg Fast Diet. So yeah, the fast part, maybe it's the 3 to 5 day, goes by in a flash. You go, geez, that was fast. That was a very fast diet. 3 to 5 days went by in a flash rather than like, you don't eat, so therefore you fast. Maybe that's what it is. Don't know. And it's not a diet because it only lasts for 3 to 5 days. But it is called, hang on, got it written down here, the Keto Egg Fast Diet. So it's not a diet because it's not a long-term nutritional plan. You can see how they're trying to jump through a couple of loopholes here, but there you go. They're just laying the foundation here as to what the diet is and just making sure we get the name of it right. And this particular diet slash non-diet falls under the umbrella of extreme diets, although it's not a diet, because it's so restrictive and because it lasts for a short period of time. And it certainly doesn't promote any kind of sustainable habits or shift in a habit. It's just simply 3 to 5 days of boom, there you go, do that and you'll get results. I think that's the point of it. And to break through a plateau of course is where you're trying to achieve something and you have been for a while, albeit on a gradual basis, which is what should happen, but then it stops and you carry on doing what you're doing, but you're getting no further. That is a plateau. I think is that a French word? Plateau? Anyway, so when you hit that plateau, often something needs to happen in order to move past it and to keep carrying on. That is what this diet is meant to do for you, to help you burst through that plateau and then continue getting your results, your gains. So it is recommended as a short-term solution, and it even comes with potential side effects such as nutritional deficiencies. Surprise, surprise. So you make a choice. It's the risk reward that you've got to weigh up, as well as a ton of other things that we'll get onto in a moment. I mean, the very fact that it has nutritional deficiencies as a potential side effect and health risks as further potential side effects just mean just turn around and run away in the other direction, because that's the direction you should be going in, not following this diet. But don't worry, because as I said earlier, I will provide you with a solution that is far more practical, sustainable, and doesn't come with risks. So to start off with, there are some positives, just to carry on from the last sentence that I had, which is mainly negative. There are a ton of positives in this, and I think if you are even considering doing this, then you are right up there in this pool of positivity. Could call that a double P, really. Pool of positivity, or POP, a pool of positivity. Might have to trademark that one. The pool of positivity, the POP is that you are in a position where you are considering doing something better for yourself, trying to improve your life, trying to lose a bit of weight, trying to build something sustainable that will get you some good results in the long term, be healthier, be happier, and make some really good changes to your lifestyle. So in that sense, it's great. Great that you're here, great that you're looking into it, great that you had that motivation, great that you had the tenacity to actually listen to what I'm saying and to actually figure it all out as to what this diet, this fasting egg diet, the keto fasting egg diet is all about. The thing is that the concentration, the energy, the mindset, the time that you're dedicating to put into all of this, to move forward with it, potentially to do it. I'll tell you what, this is something that requires a lot of willpower and a lot of grit to get through. If you're prepared to go there, if you're prepared to be here in the first place and to go where this diet will send you and to stick it out for 3 to 5 days, if you just used all of that energy, that motivation, that mindset, that grrr that it takes to actually get through that and put it into a really good, sustainable, long-term approach that will influence your knowledge, influence your health, and influence your results, then imagine where you'd be. Right, so the rules that I promised goes a bit above and beyond what I mentioned before. I've got them written down here. 6 to 12 whole eggs per day, 1 tablespoon of fat per egg, 1 ounce of full fat cheese per egg, have an egg 30 minutes within waking up, have an egg every 3 to 6 hours, despite how hungry you are. That I can agree with. and stop eating 3 to 5 hours before bed. Why? And yeah, you can drink water, tea, and diet beverages. Basically no sugar in summary to that. So those are the rules that we've got to follow. Well, not we, because I certainly won't be doing that. But I do understand the appeal, for sure. I mean, if you haven't managed to lose weight, it's frustrating. If you've lost some weight and now you're not losing weight anymore, there'll be a good reason behind that, then it's bloody annoying. And you've put all this effort into it, you finally start getting what you've been longing for, then it stops. And you think, why? And this Keto Egg Fast Diet comes along and you think, oh, 3 to 5 days, a bit of weight loss, nice, that's what I need. The question is, do you? Do you really? Because I don't think you do. You just need a good approach from word go. That's a solution that I'll provide just a short while. So a short-term fix, I can understand it. I can see the appeal. I can see with the correct marketing, the right personalities, digital, the graphics, all that sort of stuff, I can see how they can sell a product like this to those that really just want to drop that weight. Because for some, it's all about weight. No matter what they're told, unless that scale comes down, then it's just not good enough. And this Keto Egg Fast Diet will most definitely bring the scales down. No doubt about it. But the question is that a good thing? And we'll come on to that in just a moment. And I have found over the years that people are, in general, attracted to the extreme, especially when it comes to diets. I'm not talking about sort of snowboarding or extreme sports of that nature, just when it comes to dieting mainly, is the fact that someone can control the amount they're putting into their mouth. So they will. They don't understand or can't control other aspects of health and fitness, but what they're doing every day of just what's going into the mouth, they can control that with very little knowledge. So they do. And then if it's extreme and it coincides with the weight scales going down, perfect, right? What more could they want? They'll give it a go and see what happens. I've had colleagues in the past, they've announced that they're going to do this crazy diet, and I've just simply explained to them what is going to happen to them. But they don't care. They just want to lose that weight. So the extreme nature of diets like this, it appeals to a lot of people, and unfortunately it always results in the same result. But I understand why people do it. And one of my goals is to try and spread the knowledge as to what the correct approach or a correct approach is. There are many correct approaches, and the fundamentals always remain the same. And that is the message that I'm trying to get out. So back onto the ketosis part, which apparently this is not a part of the diet, but it does put you into ketosis. So if we just focus on the ketosis part, ketosis is where the body doesn't have any carbohydrates. So fats are broken down and they are used, ketones that are produced, they are used for energy within the body. This used to happen many, many years ago when there wasn't really any carbohydrates involved in life. People hunted animals and then ate their meat. And they just ate meat. That was the staple part of their diet. So humans have had a massive history of being in ketosis most, if not all the time. And it's just in recent civilization where carbohydrates have come into the fold, and that's where we now use carbs and glucose to feed organs and stuff, brains, for a starting point, and then the rest of the body. And so ketones is going sort of back to that old philosophy of using an alternative fuel source to glucose. And that comes directly from fat cells. And that's why ketosis can be quite appealing. It depletes all the glycogen stores. Now, glycogen is found somewhat in muscles, but primarily in the liver. And that is our stored carbohydrate reserve. We deplete those, and then we go on to ketosis if we do not give ourselves any further carbohydrates. And that is the whole point of this 3 to 5 days, to make that shift in your metabolism, to take you from going from or living on fueled by glucose or carbohydrates and shifting that into ketones. And when you're in that ketosis, that is where you start to see things occurring, or weight loss or success occurring. So you keep yourself from about 20-25 grams of carbohydrates per day, and then that will allow you to stay in ketosis. So onto the results side of things. The results that I've done a bit of research on and heard that people have experienced within that 3 to 5 day period, there's been about a 5 to 10 pounds of weight loss. I'll come onto that in just a minute because there's a lot to say about that. But the other results are fairly positive. That appetite has been suppressed. That can be a pretty good thing for a lot of people, those that really crave food and crave this, that and the other. That can really help out on keeping to a plan. And it also reduces insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a reduction is fantastic. That is a really good part. And one of the highlights of this particular dietary approach, there are a couple, I guess, and that is where the whole route to diabetes and the problems that you have with muscles accepting insulin are solved, and they become less resistance, and therefore you get to act like a normal human being. Well, not normal human being, probably unfair, but that's the way that the body intended on you functioning. So that's a brilliant part. And one of the interesting things about this is that generally, when people are subscribed certain foods to eat, and they don't venture outside of that allowance or those rules, then they tend to get a bit tired of having the same foods, and their appetite for those foods decrease. So if you are limited to certain foods, like you are on the 1 second, I've written it down, on the Keto Egg Fast Diet, if you're limited to those kind of rules and those foods, then you generally tend to not want them. And then your calories further reduce, and therefore your deficit increases, and therefore the weighing scales continue to decrease. So you fall into that sort of trap of just eating very little and then eating a little bit less, then a little bit less. And so it goes on. So that's a trap that you can quite easily fall into because you're just so limited in the foods that you're eating. So let's get back to that 5 to 10 pound weight loss. Simply put, no success when it comes to this sort of thing, to transforming your body or losing weight, should be based on weight. It should be based on body fat. That's it. Muscle, bone, water, and body fat. Those are 4 things that you are made up of. And you don't want to lose muscle. You prefer to keep hydrated, surely. And your bone structure is really important. Otherwise you get osteoporosis and start shrinking, and it's terrible, and you get brittle and easily hurt and blah, blah, blah. So bones, you want to keep those the same or strengthened, just the same as muscle. And water comes and goes, it's irrelevant. You can be dehydrated one day and fine the next. It doesn't matter. So that's fat is left. And that fat is what you want to decrease. So if the weighing scales are going down, if it's not going down because of fat loss, then it's not success. Probably is in your mind, because this is what people have been programmed to believe and have been told for so long, is weight loss is what you want to achieve. But it couldn't be further from the truth. And it's one of the reasons why people don't succeed long term, is because of weight. So ditch the scales and figure out how much fat you are losing. That is the only thing you can really glean as success. You can be successful in terms of your approach. If you have kept to something, your motivation is there, your energy is there, you're researching it, you're finding out about the correct thing to do and how to do it. That is success in a way, because you have dedicated your mindset and your energy to bettering yourself and to understanding something and getting more knowledge about it. But in terms of what following this diet does and the weight loss that you experience, you cannot possibly say that is success unless you can turn around and say that weight came from fat loss, which on this diet it won't, absolutely not. It's water loss within 5 days, maybe a wee bit of fat, quite a bit of muscle, because muscle's made up of a lot of water. So then it all just dissipates and then comes back later on. And there are also other side effects which further point this towards not being a success. Nausea, headaches, irritability, lack of sleep or not being able to sleep, tossing and turning, etc. These are all things that you should not experience. These are all unhealthy things. And if a diet brings these on, no, it's a thumbs down from me. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. We should probably get that out of the way. And like and subscribe. So like is the thumbs up. Subscribe or follow, depending on what platform you're on. And put some comments. No doubt I've said some controversial stuff, so feel free to comment away, question me, agree with me, do what you like. It's great to have this discussion. So I think I've got all that out of the way. We're a bit awkward, I guess, asking you to do a couple of things. Maybe one you'll do, but asking you to do multiple things, you do what you feel like doing. If you want to show some love for the channel, help it grow, fantastic. I much appreciate what you're doing for me. And by the way, my name is Simon from the Deep South Experiment. I've got to get this intro in there too, because otherwise you won't know who I am. And it's pretty late in the video anyway, but I think I'll just do it now. Is that on this channel, we talk about fat loss and muscle building as a broad umbrella, and then the mindset that glues it all together, without which the other two probably wouldn't work very well. So that's what we're doing on this channel, and for more information about me and about the channel, please see in the description below. I think I've got all that out of the way now, so back to the content. And another thing that this diet says is that if you don't lose weight on it, I don't know how you'd manage that given the restrictions, but if you don't, and you are staying the same or gaining weight, they say it's because you're in a surplus. In other words, you're eating more calories than what you require to stay the same weight. That surplus will then, of course, add weight rather than get rid of it. By weight, you probably mean body fat. So then they say to create a further deficit. And that's fine, because if you are in a surplus, then you do need a deficit in order to lose body fat. And there'll be weight, won't it? It'll be a decrease of weight on the scales. But I think the first thing you've got to ask is, why are you actually not losing weight? And why is it, when you've got so many restrictions, and from all the rules that I've been through, why on earth aren't you losing weight? And that is a clear sign to me of a bit of mindset. You've got, and you've got the cravings too. You might be binging, and you think, oh no, it's all right, because I can't possibly feel as bad as I feel and continue to feel this way. Therefore, a bit of a binge is probably what I need. And in some circumstances, you're right, because the way that this diet will make you grind out those 3 to 5 days, and the feeling that it will give you, you'll probably start rationalizing and really able to convince yourself that a cheat meal or more of the food that you're allowed is what you need, because the restriction is just too much. It sends you to places that you should never be in your mind. You probably start thinking bad thoughts and stuff like that. And no one should ever feel like that when they're trying to lose body fat, because there is a clear way to do it when you understand how to do it. And it's even recommended that if you're in a position whereby you've got too many calories coming in, rather than cutting out more calories, add exercise. And I mean, If you think that you're going to be feeling the way that you are and then go for a quick jog around the block or do some decent exercises, have an hour's workout, whatever it might be, you're going to add that stress onto your already immensely stressed out body and then get results that are fat loss. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to add so much stress. You're going to flood your body with cortisol, which is a stress hormone that prohibits fat loss. Then that's just not the way to go. It's terrible advice and a terrible plan. So in summary, and then I promise I will shut up and the video will end, which is what happens at the end of a podcast. The Keto Egg Fast Diet, I said that without looking at my notes, isn't that wonderful? The Keto Egg Fast Diet, I said it again, is not necessary. It's quite dangerous. It takes a special kind of person to be able to start and finish it properly, and then even those that do, the results are not really results. They're not really, well, they are results because that is what results as a part of it, but it's not success. It will not make you lose solely body fat. And if it does, then what follows afterwards, which are not counted as results or success apparently, because they aren't, is that you will gain something back that you don't want. Probably body fat, the very thing that you're trying to lose, which is the nature of diets. This is what they do to you and what they put you through. You've also got the effects on your metabolism too. A diet like this will most definitely impact your muscles. It will drain the water out of them because the glycogen will be gone. You'll feel flatter, you'll feel lethargic, and your weight training won't be anywhere near where it needs to be if you do weight train at all, which I hope you do, because it's fantastic for you. Your metabolism will take a real hit doing this, and that's bad news. And I can understand the simplicity side of things. The rules are fairly straightforward. People like or need simplicity. Simplicity is here by the bucketful. Might be appealing to some, but there are so many other things that aren't appealing that the weighing scales of appeal versus not appeal are clearly in one direction, not the band. So after all of that, and there was quite a lot of that, I think, but it was necessary. What is the solution? What do you actually need to do in order to lose body fat? And aside from not following the Keto Egg Fast Diet, it is to first of all establish your maintenance calories. How do you do that? Well, record what you're eating the best way that you can. There'll always be a margin of error. Record that number. When you eat the same amount of calories, not the same foods if you don't want to, but roughly the same number of calories, give or take some, and your weight is remaining relatively stable, that is your baseline of calories, your maintenance level of calories that you need to know. And then from that point, you need to create a deficit, a nice, conservative, sensible deficit that you can keep to long term, consisting of any foods that you want to. And what I mean by that is not restricting yourself to egg, cheese, and fat, but you are restricting yourself to foods that are healthy, foods that are complex in nature, so rice, potatoes, rather than, sugar and bars of whatever, candy, lollies, sweets, depending on where in the world you're from. Here in New Zealand, they're called lollies. So I'll stick with that. Maybe ice cream, that's a universal term. So, you've got to choose between the correct type of carbohydrates if you're eating those. And of course, the protein, that's got to be suitable too. 1 gram per pound of body weight. Have that as a starting point. Or if you're particularly tall, have it as 1 gram per centimetre of height. That should be a good starting point, just like establishing your maintenance calories. So do that, and then add some exercise in there, some progressive overload, which I've done a video on, of weight training. Make sure those muscles are developing or at least being maintained. By doing resistance training, you're sending signals to your body of muscle is required because of this weight training that is being forced upon me. Therefore, don't get rid of muscle, keep it or develop it. So therefore the body will go, right, okay, well I can't burn muscle now for fuel, I have to turn to fat. That's the sort of short version of that explanation. So if you give that solution a go, master some of those points or all of them, then you will at least have far more success than you will doing the Keto Egg Fast Diet, without a doubt. It'll be like the egg fast diet being like nitro, WCW nitro from the early 2000s, compared to what I've just suggested as a solution, which would be WrestleMania. Just a shout out to all the wrestling fans out there. I'm sure that will go over the head of many, but be completely 100% thoroughly understood by any wrestling fan over the age of 30 out there, which I'm one of, just in case you're wondering. So good luck with all of that. I hope that helps. Stay away from diets, the restrictive ones, especially those with health warnings and with set rules, and go ahead and do something that is a small change to what you're doing, and that will result in a long-term habitual change to your lifestyle, which is what you need to lose body fat and not weight. Thanks very much. Catch you later.